We all know the Democrats have holes in their logic, but when it comes to COVID, that hole is big enough to drive a truck through, right? We still have people on the left, we still have these top Democrats thinking that the response the government did to COVID was appropriate and effective. But of course, what we're seeing today over on CNN with Abby Phillips is conservative Ben Ferguson torching some lefty doctor about the government's response as to why, of course, no one trusts them anymore. But before we get these clips, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
There's a cause and effect, and the CDC lied to us about COVID, and they lied a lot. They lied about masks in school.
Not true.
They lied about distancing. They lied about the efficiency or the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Not true.
It is true. They
Not
said that distancing. Hold on, wait. Did they not lie about the effectiveness of a mask when the internal document said
talk about
that the
certain
mask
types
did not
of
work in the
masks,
schools?
if we're looking at high quality masks, if we're looking at high quality masks, right? So P95 masks, those masks actually prevent infections. Because look, this is the way science works. Science works that as you get data, the type of communication that you give improves. But you can't say the CDC. You can't say the CDC.
I actually think it's important.
It's very important.
If you're saying things that are not accurate, I do think it's fair for her to counter that.
The CDC said that masking was effective and worked when they knew internal documents said.
It
and
does
the emails
work.
came out that it didn't work.
Okay, well, what
True or
she
false?
does. Okay,
6 foot distancing.
Hold on a
True or
second.
false? The CDC say
hold on a second.
Misinformation, folks.
And it
You're
didn't.
seeing it in action.
First of all,
they said it was going to stop the spread in 2 weeks.
Ben, are you gonna have a conversation, or are you just gonna keep talking? Look, hold on. Okay. First of all, what she is disputing is your language around this, which is that they lied.
Yes, exactly.
Which she's saying, and I think she's right about this, is not true. There are certain types of masks that work better than others.
We've been using masks for decades.
The whole point of science. I mean, and this is. I think
this is why Florida did this. And this is what you guys don't understand.
Hold on.
There's a cause and effect. The American people don't trust the CDC.
Hold on a second.
For the reasons I said. You may not like that. You may not like the American people.
Americans don't trust the CDC because people like RFK Jr. and others.
That's why RFK Jr. got the job he's got now, because so many people didn't trust the CDC.
Hold on a second. Okay, Ben, just give me 1 second, okay? Ben, are you really going to argue with the doctor?
Thank you.
With
a doctor who is helping to save lives
when we all listened to doctors during COVID, you guys screwed us and we failed miserably. You lied about a vaccine.
Let me move on. Hold on 1 second.
I'm going back to COVID-19 and why we're having
I know that it's convenient to go back to COVID, but we're
that's where this started.
No, it
Everyone trusted them before COVID-19.
Right now, in this, hold on, Ben. Right now in this country, Scott, the question is, should children going back to school, you also have kids, I don't know if they're vaccinated or not. I presume they probably are. If they are going back to school, should they have a vaccine?
You could hold two thoughts at the same time. You could believe that they work and believe that, you don't have any questions about it. And you may also believe that the government shouldn't make you do anything that you don't want to do regarding health care.
Government makes you get a license.
Whether you have concerns about the vaccines or not, there are people who do not believe that the government should be able to
mandate makes you wear a seatbelt.
Anything like that. Well, there are people that don't think that.
They don't make you drive.
And so,
they don't make you drive.
I think it's possible for people to hold. And so anyway, I think that's kind of the debate that's going on.
The government
personal liberty.
That is the debate. But I think Dan's point is, and I think this is super important when it comes to vaccines. Vaccines are not just an I decision. They are a we decision because they don't work as well unless and until we all participate in that. So that is part of what was the discussion here when it comes to mandates, because we are all protected when we are as a community vaccinated. We are less protected when we are not vaccinated as a community.
When you have the CDC that does not have the trust of the American people, and clearly in Florida, they do not trust the CDC with their children.
This has nothing to do with the CDC.
Yes.
This has to do with Florida public health.
You can lecture the American people all you want to, but I'm trying to explain to you why parents are saying, I don't trust.
I know that you are trying to justify it, but
it's not justifying. It is explaining
this is actually not about.
People, by the way, if you don't like this Florida, you can move.
This is not about the parents at this point.
Sure, it is.
This is about
absolutely about the parents having the right to choose their kids over a state.
This is about the policymakers.
You must vaccinate your children.
Ben, this is about the policymakers. This is about the governor. It's about the Surgeon General, because they don't like the COVID-19 vaccine.
You guys won't even admit that we got it wrong with COVID at this table.
Are you so sure that
we have
parents still
not
get their
gotten it
children
wrong.
vaccinated?
Yeah, you're saying
even without
We
a
have
vaccine?
not gotten it
Hold on a
wrong.
second.
I think you're raising an interesting question about the numbers. You said millions of children. Are you so sure that parents won't get their children vaccinated without a mandate?
I think
that-
I mean, the
well,
mandate.
I think
We
it's-
already
it
have
is-
I mean, they
data
can
on
still
that.
get them vaccinated.
She
We already
just
have data
addressed
on
that.
But not enough.
Not
Yeah.
enough. We
But
already
if you
have
want to
data
blame
on that.
somebody for this,
I don't know
blame
how
the
people
CDC
won't.
for losing the trust of the American people.
Okay, you're wrong again. Okay?
No, I'm not.
You're
We're
loud
having this
and
conversation
wrong. You're
because the
loud
American
and wrong.
people don't
Let's
trust
talk
the
about
CDC.
political actors who started to spew intentionally
Because the
misinformation
CDC misled and lied to the American people
disinformation,
during
which
a
has led
shutdown
to
of the world.
confusion, has led to chaos, and has led to an unnecessary loss of
Again,
life.
then you should talk to
Do
the
you know
CDC. You
why
should
we
talk
were
to the
able to
CDC.
save
Don't
the
be
lives
mad
that
at
we
me.
did? Because
Be
public
angry
health
with the
provisions,
scientists that lied to the American people.
that's what's
take the
dangerous.
CDC
Be angry
out
with the
of
science.
this?
Yes,
We
why?
wouldn't be having the conversation
Why?
about
But
that.
what I'm
just the
saying is that
CDC?
if
That Dr. Chris Perel is very angry, and for no reason, right? Because after all, she's on the side of science and the truth, apparently, okay? But we're going to have Ben Ferguson over here poking holes into everything when, of course, they actually allow him to speak, all right? Because all we're trying to say is that, hey, we have these vaccines, and guess what? People on the right are not necessarily against vaccines. We're against possibly the timeline of the vaccines. We're against the amount of vaccines. We tend to be for the MMR vaccine, but all these other things like hepatitis B, etc., we don't necessarily need those injected into newborns. But when you talk about trust in the system, right, why was it lost? Simple, right? As Ben Ferguson points out, it was because of the government's COVID response, right? They were wrong about pretty much everything. They told us that if you take the COVID vaccine, you will not get COVID and you will not spread COVID. Although it turns out, just like every other coronavirus, year after year, it changes. So you're constantly getting it again and again and again, just like the flu. Okay. But then we also talk about the masks, right? Dr. Chris Perel gets very upset when we say, oh, the masks were ineffective. No, you just misunderstood. All right, well, let's go ahead and flash back to the early days of the pandemic, okay? They said you don't need to have a mask. You don't have to wear them at all. And then they actually pushed cloth masks. And by the way, not just one cloth mask, because obviously if one works, then 2 or 3 is even more effective. And then they changed their tune again to the N95 masks. But you're sitting here trying to tell me with a straight face that doctors in this nation didn't know that cloth masks weren't going to work in terms of stopping an airborne virus, right? So this lady is clearly insane. But then we have to talk about the 6-foot mandates. That was also a big lie that was based on no science whatsoever. And this was admitted to by Dr. Fauci in testimony before Congress. And yet all of these things were reasons given as to why we had to shut down our schools, shut down our stores, shut down our livelihoods, let the old people die in homes by themselves away from their families, right? Never forget what they did to us, right? We don't hate them enough for the lies that they told us. But Ben Ferguson is just sitting here trying to educate these lefties as to why nobody trusts the CDC, as to why nobody trusts these experts anymore. It's because we were all lied to. And it doesn't matter what Abby Phillip says. It doesn't matter what Dr. Chris Perel says over there. We know this happened, right? Do you remember having to go to a restaurant with your mask on, and then as soon as you sat down, you were able to take it off as if COVID just lingered right above your head and then you were safe? I remember having to be in my classroom with a mask on my face, sweat and spit streaming down my chin, because if I took my mask off, the students were going to rat on me to the administration. Okay, this was the level of craziness we were facing at the time. It was basically brainwashing the people who didn't have any clue as to what was really going on. And now our eyes are open as to the simple fact that, hey, guess what? A lot of these folks were making garbage up and were going off on some crazy power trip just to control the American people. And if the ladies on this panel no longer want to listen as to why people have lost trust in the institution, then I don't know what to tell them, right? These are simple facts, simple truths that everyone can be aware of if they would only open their eyes and ears. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.